It was 10th of July 1856. In a small yet beautiful town of Serbia, Smiljelen, in the middle of deafening storm, a boy who named Nikola was born. "These thunders must be a bad signal," thought the midwife. "Your son," she said, "has very lightning eyes, but he will be a child of darkness." His mom replied, "No, he will be a child of the light."
NIKOLA TESLA.
Young Nikola was one of the 5 children. His father, an Orthodox priest and a writer, pushed his son to join the priesthood, but Nikola's interests were already growing up towards the science. He must had this idea from his mom, who invented small household tools in her free time beside his son. Nikola, in his bright mind, had already 2 major plans since he was very young. It wasn't a really different day than the normal ones when he saw a picture from Canada of the Great Niagara waterfalls. "One day," he said, "one day I will place a ground wheel under these waterfalls and generate some electricity," to his uncle. This wasn't really hard for him since Tesla had a photographic memory. He could visualize 3-dimensional structures in his head. Later in life, he was going to turn those images into great inventions. Days followed each other. Young Nikola became a grown-up and moved to the United States to make his dreams real. During his time in America, young Nikola was suffering from a severe obsessiveness. He was obsessed with round objects, touching hair, and the number 3, which never allowed him to enter a building without pacing around it 3 times. Also, he detested jewelry. He could never talk to a person wearing pearls. One day, even, he sent his secretary home when she wore pearl jewelry. But maybe the most intense one was his germaphobe. Tesla overcame an almost fatal cholera when he was a teenager, and after that, he became obsessive about germs and cleaning everything. He started to apply an extensive and rigid personal hygiene routine, including using 18 napkins to clean his dining room every night and wearing white gloves before every dinner. His condition was diagnosed as obsessive-compulsive, but Nikola saw this condition as an opportunity to focus on his investigations better. And I must say, he was doing quite well. Tesla, for his attitude and intellect, was also known as mad scientist. He also tried to develop a particle gun or death ray. However, he never had the intention to use his talents for bad aims. Unlike that, he always wanted to be helpful and beneficial to the world. His passion encouraged him to do dangerous and strange experiments in his laboratory. He invented an earthquake machine which made neighbors call the police and ambulance, fearing that a real earthquake happening. A quite remarkable memory of Mark Twain and Tesla's earthquake machine is, one day he invited his friend Mark Twain, who was known to have constipation issues. He wanted him to stand on the machine's platform while he started the machine, and only in some minutes Twain was running to the bathroom to solve his problems. Throughout his life, and especially towards the end, Tesla lived in many different hotels in Manhattan. He did not marry and had an explanation for why he was not going to marry. Be alone. That is the secret of invention. Be alone. That is when ideas are born. Believing in his words, Tesla registered 300 patents and envisioned more than 700 inventions. He invented ultraviolet rays to use in electrotherapy, and he tried to create a time machine. We can consider him as the inventor of wireless internet and smartphones too. Even though it is unbelievable, he actually designed a technology in 1901 that we are using today, 100 years later. Between these inventions, there were the Tesla coil, the remote control, neon lamps, and of course, there was the grand wheel that's controlling power of the Niagara Falls, which illuminated the streets, subways, and thousands of houses. And now, if one wants to visit the Niagara Falls, he can see a monument that honors Tesla's contribution that looks over the falls. The scientists of today think deeply instead of clearly. One must be sane to think clearly, but one can think deeply and be quite insane. Nikola Tesla.